Hey, we're live. What's going on, everybody? Pete's
What's
frozen
happening?
again.
Howdy-ho.
We got Saboteurs here and Star Groove. Star Groove, what's going on?
Yeah, what's shaking?
Been
We're
seeing
the
you in
Triple
chat
G
more
crew.
lately. So, so I had this up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some changes coming, definitely.
For much longer.
Yeah. Nintendo Switch's excellent gold point scheme is being discontinued. From next month, we'll no longer get earn 5% of our purchases back on the Switch e-store. March 24th.
Yep. So that's the last date to cash them in, but they'll be around for another year. And I don't know if everyone knew that, but your points disappeared after a year anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you didn't register them within a year, you lost out too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone who has bought Mario Kart in the last 6-7 years, they can't redeem their gold coins because they went out a year after they came out.
Yeah,
they were expired already.
Well, didn't the digital automatically give you the gold coins when you bought digital?
Digital, yes.
Yeah.
So you got to physically put in those codes for all the physical games.
Yeah, because I've only got
earn back 5% of the amount you spend on games as this store currency, which can then be used to get money off further purchases in the eShop. You spend $60 on a new title, you'd usually receive $3 into your account, which might not sound like a huge amount until the next time you're browsing the store and look at indie games on sale and realize you can have that one that takes your eye for free. That was nice. That is nice.
Wait a minute. $60 and they're saying you get $3 back?
That's a possibility on some. That's
5%. That's digital.
Yeah, 5%.
But if you spend $60, you get 60 gold coins, right?
No.
I think you do.
Physical.
Yeah, that's how I thought they used to do it. Yeah.
I think you do.
Physical was 1%. Digital was quite a bit more.
Really? Digital was more?
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes they ran specials, but I don't know if it was more all the time. Because basically, if you bought a game for $60, you got $1. That's what it was.
Gold points you already have will continue to work as before. They're valid for 12 months after you receive them, and you'll still be able to use them for discounts until the last possible date, March 24th, 2026. So you can still receive them until March 24th, 2025 date on any digital or physical purchases you make. Further, physical games published ahead of the deadline will still be redeemable even after March 24th.
You know what that means? We're going to have to go out and buy a bunch of damn games before March.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
Hey, we got DJC here.
Oh, man.
What's
up, Chuck?
It's a David Bowie show. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, don't say
Kurt Bradshaw's here. Chuck says, what is a Switch? It's like a fancy in television, Chuck.
What is a Switch?
CC Mental is here. The bartender, Zim Zam Zoom.
And it's
Marty
spelled
Flamingo.
D-U-H. Duh.
Devastating Just Cause.
Hey.
I don't know who has more alt accounts than Chuck. He's got about 4 in here right now.
We love him for that.
The question I have is who has more personalities, Chuck or Sybil?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather watch Chuck's show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chuck's way more entertaining.
Here comes Coco. Coco's in the basket.
No, look that way. This way.
Will there be cake served? I hope so, Art, because I could use some cake.
Well, Art, what kind of cake would you like?
Actually, before the show, I told CC Mental, I said, hey, why don't you bake a cake while I'm gone, and I'll eat it when I get out.
Hey, it's Pierre.
That didn't go over too well.
You're trying to say that's not going to happen.
So they also announced, right, that officially the vouchers will not be used for Switch 2. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what my understanding was.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I mean, I always assumed that. I don't know why. I mean, they are for a Nintendo Switch game, so I just figured that'd be the case. Because we're talking off there. Why would Nintendo want to give you you spend $100 on the vouchers, right? And you can get 2 games digitally. So even if they were 60, why would you want your customers getting 2 first-party Switch 2 games for a $10 discount on both when the system just came out? Maybe we start that up next year for Switch 2. And I
That's the
suspect
thing is a lot of that's incentives, especially when the interest in the system starts to wane a little bit or whatever, and then you throw out something to try to get everybody back on board again. And
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say either the gold coins or some kind of equivalent will probably come out again, maybe next year.
Right.
For Switch 2. I don't know if they'll do anything this year. And they're certainly not going to announce it on April 2nd.
No.
I mean, that's all about the system and the games. Nope. They're not going to care about explaining.
They're going to show that off and what it can do.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is definitely I want to see what the heck this thing. I mean, from what I'm seeing, there's a couple things I really like about power wise. I mean, it's not going to be PS5, Series X, type stuff, but one of the things is showing the RAM being at 12 gigs instead of 4, which will drastically help out. And then the CPU is strong enough that like it's able to, when they used to have the background loading that used to cause trouble in the first one, that should be pretty much eased or eliminated in the new one because of the power of the CPU. So, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not going to be PS5. It's not going to be X, Series X, but it's going to look pretty good, so that's what
it sounds like it's quite a bit more powerful than the Switch. And Pete, you're exactly right. You receive 5% off digital games or for digital games for your gold points as opposed to 1%. I've never even noticed that. It's been like 8 years. I've never noticed that.
I've noticed it because I don't like getting digital games. I buy them all physical and you don't get anything, so I don't bother usually.
Does that count?
Is what I get.
Does that count for a $5 digital game? I mean, do you get like if you get a $5 digital game, you get gold points for it.
Yeah.
Are you getting 5% of that instead of 1%?
You're getting 5% of it, yeah. So you would get a quarter.
I've never even noticed that. How did I not notice that? I've bought a ton of
like 56 cents. Most I've ever had is like $3 at once. And you buy something, you just throw it onto it, right?
Right. Yeah.
How are we feeling about the price of Switch 2 games? 60 or 70?
Still got my Christmas cards here.
I don't think they'll all be 70 from Nintendo.
No.
Oh, look at you better get those in, Pete.
I think it's going to be varying prices like it is now.
I mean, I don't know why Nintendo wouldn't charge 70 for Mario Kart. I mean, it's their biggest franchise.
Oh,
they charge 70 for the last Zelda game.
Right. Nintendo's going big.
They will. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
But I mean,
anyway.
I don't think they're going to charge you $70 for the newest Kirby game. I don't think that's going to happen. But I could be wrong.
Never underestimate the greed of the corporations.
Mega Mike is here. Mike,
Hello,
what's going on?
Mike.
You joined me on Mario Kart night. That was awesome. How much does a Switch controller cost? Joy-Cons are 80 for the pair, so 40 each. I don't even know if you can buy them individually. I've heard people say you can. I don't know. I've never seen them.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
What is the Pro controller? Oh, there you go. Pete's got that answer right there.
That one's empty. Those are both brand new because I went into Walmart in Sussex, New Brunswick one time, and these, which are like $49 here, were clearance for like $19.99. So I bought 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
And I had drift on one, so I got the new one out, and I've still got these 2 have never been opened actually. Still sealed.
Yeah, Mega Mike, I'll do another Mario Kart night coming up. But Friday I'm doing Freddy Farmer, I think. The newest game from what was it? Flynn's Arcade Publishing. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I don't even know what the heck does a Pro controller cost? It's like 65?
Something like that.
It's not
Something
80.
like that, yeah.
It's less than the two Joy-Cons together.
I forget.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what these new Joy-Cons cost.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they got a little bit of extra technology slammed in them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. They I don't know. Could they even go any higher than 80 for the Joy-Cons? That's really pushing it.
No, yeah, I don't think they would.
Yeah, that's really pushing it. Now, did you see? Was it Costco in Canada supposedly had a price or at least a holding spot for the Switch, and it was I forgot what it was. Was it 500?
$399.
But it came out whatever it was in American dollars. It came out to $350.
Oh, okay.
I think it was $499.
Yeah, so I was hearing $399.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if Nintendo is completely settled on the price yet. I mean, if I had to guess, they're probably debating between $350 and $400. $450 seems like that's pushing it, like $100 pair of Joy-Cons as well. That's a little bit much.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you heard, there were supposedly some people saying that the system's out in the wild and going for as much as $40,000.
I heard that. It's like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You got nothing to play. You won't have anything to play until it comes out that day, and then why don't you just wait?
So as soon as you go live, say you connect it to the internet and Nintendo sees it, they'll blacklist that. Yeah.
Well, that happened with the Switch. Some people got it early. Nintendo just dropped the hammer on them and basically bricked the system. It's like, yikes.
Nintendo don't play around.
Saboteur loves analog triggers.
Bagman has spoken.
He's not going to get a Switch 2 either because it doesn't appear to have analog triggers. But you never know. It might. I doubt it, though. I imagine they'll be pretty much the same.
Yeah, I don't see that happen.
No. I do not either. You hear anything else good, Torso?
No, I mean, what I seen was the CPU, which is of course, it's the Tegra, like the first one, but the Tegra 2 or 3, I can't remember. And then, like I said, I've seen the 12 gigabyte unified memory above the 4 gigabyte. So that was cool, but it was nice seeing that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I've been reading with people saying that $399 price tag, and how that's the sweet spot, but I don't know how accurate that is. With the Nintendo, they might come in at $350, so or $349 or whatever. But other than that, that was about. Yeah, I haven't even seen any games.
They're not going to lose money.
No,
on the system. No. That's always been their policy. Unlike Microsoft and Sony, what was the PS3? Wasn't Sony losing like $100 per unit when that launched?
Oh, geez, there were some of them that were way more than that, Jeff. Yeah, they were.
What's the point? I mean, all right, so great, you sold 10 million units, but now you're down, whatever that is. I mean, how will you ever recover?
You got to sell 2 games to every unit before you start to break even.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, probably more than that. Probably more like 3 if you're $100 off, right?
Because I think I read that Nintendo has been the only company that they make money on their units right off the gate.
Yeah.
They've been like that every time they release one of their systems.
Well, look at the original Switch. It's still $300.
Yeah.
That hasn't budged. It's
8 years old. Soldier Boy always made money on each of their units.
Yeah. He did very well for himself, I think.
I just been waiting for his games to come out.
You know who did well for himself with Soldier Boy's consoles is Mad Little Pixel.
Oh yeah.
He I mean, I don't know what he was at the time, maybe 20, 25,000, which is a huge amount of subs, if you ask me. But I mean, he may not have even been at that level. I don't know. But he started covering those Soldier Boy things, and man, his subs just like skyrocketed. It was amazing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. He was making videos of that every time he had a chance, and it was working
Hitting
for
the
him.
right thing. It's amazing.
Well, I was enjoying the Soldier Boy videos at the time. It's crazy. Just the crazy crap he was saying was just entertaining enough for me. So
I don't know what he was thinking. It was so crazy. I'll sell a bunch of illegal ROMs and people will love it. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, you talk about something that's so irrelevant that they have to go crazy like that to try to become relevant again. Which, I mean, he became relevant in the wrong kind of way, but
who was that? Oh, Starger said Astrobot turned me on at analog triggers. I'll tell you what turned me on to analog triggers right here. The old Dreamcast.
Right.
Yeah. I've said it several times, but my favorite baseball game was a Japanese baseball game. And you literally would hold in the right trigger to bring the bat back. And when you let go, he'd swing. But if you pulled back right away after you let go, you check your swing. He'd literally like catch himself.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that in a baseball game. I love it. I wish they'd bring that back.
I had to pick up another Dreamcast controller because the one that I got with my system, I had it underneath the table on a shelf, and I stepped on it, the cord, and it bent it out of the thing and messed it up. So I was like, I tried to fix it, but it's useless. So because I'm not that talented, so I try to fix it as much as a dum could fix it.
That's what you need now, Torso.
I got one coming. Yeah, I got one of them coming. Remember, I think I told you it was like $44 for that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling you, like, it's been years now, but it was probably like 6 years or so. Walmart just randomly put up a bunch of VMUs for sale online. It's like, where have you guys been keeping these things? Were they just in the back
of the warehouse?
Yeah, they must have just been sitting there. Someone found them and said, "Let's just get rid of these things." They're only selling for like $25. I got at least 2.
What the hell's in all these boxes we got in the warehouse? Let's check it out.
It's like, you ever see that old photo from Toys R Us? Somebody pulled out. I think it was a Mario Kart 64 box. It was all kind of bent and dusty. Yeah. It had been sitting under there by 15 years or something crazy.
When they took the cabinets down, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when they were tearing the door apart.
Remember what it was? It was a couple years ago. Remember them? They found them all them games that was. I think it was from like I don't know if it was a Toys R Us or whatever the heck it was, but somebody bought that whole collection. But they had like tons of box games, and it's just whatever was in the store at the time. They had consoles and games. It was massive.
That sounds so familiar. Yeah, somebody bought the whole lot, right?
Yeah, because they were like releasing on eBay, like you could buy in box, games, and some of the ones they had were ones that were worth quite a bit, So, whoever bought that, I watched the video. I forget who it was, but it was I'm pretty sure it was a YouTuber that bought, or was involved with it or whatever. But
remember that dude? I can't think of who it was.
I heard it was Papa Pete.
Here's that thing he was talking about.
This is coming to the Switch.
Oh, iRobot.
Yeah,
I've played this briefly on the arcade.
Yeah,
it's kind of a crazy game. I was having a hard time figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't understand when I first seen this. I thought, well, wasn't that already out? And then I didn't realize this was a reimagining of it.
Yeah, I think the arcade is on one of those Atari collections.
Yeah, the Atari 50 has.
I think the first 50. I believe.
But yeah, I played it in the arcade once or twice. I knew the game.
Mm-hmm.
Saboteur said his first analog trigger experience was with Saturn 3D. Yeah, I forgot about that. Saboteur. That was an interesting controller.
Man, that is an all over the place game.
I know, it's crazy looking, isn't it?
Uh-oh. Pete's attacking the
Oh,
viewers.
it's even coming out on the VCS. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good thing because that thing doesn't have anything.
No, and they what was the last thing that came out that they didn't get?
Oh, the Atari 50 at the two DLCs.
Yeah, DLC. They couldn't do it. Like, why can't you put out DLC for these poor people?
Well, they were saying because a lot of them were saying because of the memory, because it has such a small amount of memory, but it's like, well, most people would have just hooked up, external memory to it. So I don't, I don't understand that logic behind it. But yeah, I mean, it would have made people happy. I mean, but they gave them vouchers to go buy it off Steam or whatever. I mean, well, not to buy it, but I mean, you got it for free on Steam or whatever. I think it's on some of the consoles you can get it too. So,
Pete's got that Jim Carrey picture up here. I've never liked Jim Carrey, but I watched this movie here, Cable Guy. Was that the name of it? Cable Guy?
Mhm.
And I really liked him in that movie. And then I was reading up later that this was a lot of people just didn't like that movie at all, or didn't like him in it or whatever. But I was like, wow, I actually for the first time really liked him in a movie.
Oh yeah, it was a dark comedy, so some people didn't get into it. I liked it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I didn't dig that one so much. That's one of those. I'm a Jim Carrey fan, but there are certain things that Truman Show was really good.
Yeah, Truman Show was good.
Who was the interview I was just watching? Oh man, who what? Oh, it was Dave Chappelle. I was watching one of his stand-ups, and he was talking about meeting Jim Carrey. He goes, I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey, and I got this friend of mine, and he knows he was, working on the movie when he was doing this movie. He says, hey, I'll be down at the shoot. Do you want to go with me? And you can meet Jim Carrey. And he's like, I was so excited. And it was when he was doing the Andy Kaufman movie. And he goes, I saw him there, and he said, hey, don't, you can't call him Jim. You got to call him Andy. Because it was all in. He goes, the first time I finally meet Jim Carrey, and I can't talk to Jim Carrey.
He was that's a really good show on Amazon, Jim and Andy.
Yes.
About that whole, is that what you just said?
No,
Yeah.
I was talking about when Chappelle said he met him.
Oh, yes.
And he had to treat him as in character.
Talking about that, the way he acted, he drove everybody crazy. Jim and Andy, it's good.
That's a good movie, that Man on the Moon.
There you go.
Oh,
there's a pile of stuff over there because there's no piles of stuff in my room here or anything like that. There's a memory card.
Is that for the Dreamcast?
Yeah, VMU in there too. Just happens to be.
Now that white one is an original. And the blue one, is that a third party?
This is a third party memory card. Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, I think
VMU.
Hey, that memory card, the blue one, doesn't have a screen, does it? Is it just literally a memory card?
It's literally just a memory card. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Interact.
I forgot they made those like that, but yeah, they did.
That's what this box
lower
was.
the price.
There's probably a clear. I'll probably have that other one somewhere too.
Now I know that. Oh, there you go.
I had one. I think I had one of those.
That's Mad Catz. That one.
I still have a Mad Catz controller, I think, for a PlayStation or something.
Oh, those are good to have, Pete.
Still in the original box.
What is that?
This is the extension cable for the controller.
Gotcha.
Those come in handy when you're playing Worms and you have a bunch of people sitting there and you want to pass it around.
Yep.
that's what mine cost $44. That one I just bought from Amazon.
Yeah, it stinks, but like you said, you have to have it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's better than not having it.
Huh.
Then you can't play any games.
Best memory card ever.
And there you go. And I'm getting that controller right there because it'll work. And now
nice.
Step up the one I have.
Oh, ho, ho.
Yeah, I figured I'd keep it OG, but that was only $38, so that's not too bad.
Wow.
Look at that keyboard Pete's got.
Oh, has it got the Dreamcast keyboard?
Yeah. Wish I had the game to go with it. I want to get Type of the Dead, but it's $100 some. I should fight and buy it.
I think when we were talking controllers at one time, the one system that I had every controller I could ever find was the Dreamcast. You know, from the fishing to the mic to the keyboard, you know, the mouse, everything that I could get that I came in contact with, I had. That's how much I loved the Dreamcast. And you know, and I think I told you guys that was my first Sega system. I never had any Sega system until the Dreamcast, and I just was like, it was like a epiphany. I was ooh, like, wow, Sega's pretty good. So
the angels came from the skies.
Well, I mean, I just bought Nintendo because it was Nintendo, and I liked their games. So I just kind of stuck with it. And I played Sega like with my buddy, you know, but that was mostly you know, like a baseball or football. And that we used to have, you know, 2-player tournaments and that. But yeah, finding out and just really getting into, you know, Sega and just realizing I'm like, man, I missed a whole bunch of games, you know, based just sitting, you know, because I wasn't trying to fanboy and go, oh, you know, I only want Nintendo. It's just, you know, like I said, I didn't want to get into having to buy for a bunch of systems and, you know, and going through that stuff. So,
well, Torso, you may not know just what a great segue you just gave me right there with this article that I found. And this is going to be one of those articles that people aren't going to agree, you know, they're going to, you know, whatever.
I don't agree with it.
Somebody's the 7 best Nintendo systems of all time. So this is from comicbook.com, and they start it with the 64 at number 7.
I love the 64.
And then they go to the 3DS, number 6.
That's pretty good.
The Nintendo DS at 5.
Yeah,
That's one of
DS
the
was
all-time.
fantastic.
That's one of the all-time favorites right there.
And why?
Well, the DS. You know what I liked about it was Nintendo downplayed it. They didn't know how the 3DS, you know, the DS was going to do. They kept saying, well, this isn't replacing the Game Boy. This is like our the third leg on our table, or you know, they were just saying stuff like that because they didn't think this was really going to sell a lot. And I remember when I got it and then I played it, I was like, "Wait, them guys nuts? How did they not realize this thing was gold?" You know, but
it says here when Nintendo first unveiled the device, it seemed destined to fail to Sony's PSP.
Well, yeah, the screen itself is nothing compared to the PSP, and but it was the dual screen is what just killed it. Plus, one of the reasons why it's one of my favorites is like everything's on the DS. It's kind of like the Switch today. Everything's on the Switch. Everything was on the DS. They even had what was that light gun game for PlayStation 1 that was so popular? Oh, can't remember it, but it was really popular. They even put that on the DS. I'm like, they put a light gun game on there because you had the stylus. You could just go boom, 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 and poke it like that. It was
number 4 is the GameCube.
I love the GameCube.
I really like the GameCube. I'm glad to have one of my own now because when Logan graduated college, he's like, you know, I'm taking the GameCube. I was like,
there's nothing.
Yeah,
you
no, you're right. It's yours. We bought it for you.
Look at this. Speaking of this DS, I got this during the DS days. It's a Pac-Man stylus. Now, it originally came with eyes on both sides, but those rubbed off immediately. There you go. This thing's so cool, though. It's a Japanese only thing. It's really neat.
You know what I hate?
I
really hate when companies print on their product, and then when you're trying to clean it, it starts coming off. I'm like, what? Who the hell does that?
Companies.
I don't get it.
Like a blender. That's going to get dirty. I'm going to have to wipe it off.
Now, the Game Boy was number 3. I never had a Game Boy. Not an original one.
Oh, you never had the original?
No, never did.
I never did, but my son did.
I love the Game Boy.
You know, when it came out, I looked at it and I'm like, this just looks like a shittier version of the NES. And so I never got it. But, you know, now when I play those games, I love those games.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I mean, when they first came out, they were basic until they started really messing with, because I mean, look at Mario Land, the first Mario
one.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that game, but I mean, look at later on how far they were.
The second one was way better.
Yeah,
And
I remember playing Punisher on it. Super Nintendo at number 2. And
I love the NES. I mean, the
Switch
Super
at
Nintendo was
one.
great.
Where was the
Wait,
NES? Was that
was
not
the
there?
NES not on the list?
Not on it.
Didn't make the cut, man.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm eager to know what people think about that list. I mean, because it's like anything else. This is what this person thinks.
Yeah.
Well, be honest. I mean, I had the NES, but that list, it would actually be more akin to what I would say, because I like them systems way more than I did the NES. I mean, even though that was the beginning of Nintendo, and I mean, and it was the I made from the jump from ColecoVision to the NES, but it just later on it never was that big deal to me. I don't even, I have the mini, but I don't even really care to collect any games for it or nothing. That's not what I would be looking for.
So what is
Super
this?
Nintendo? I would.
What is it?
I like the Wii.
Flight stick. Yeah, I like the Wii. Thanks.
Oh, the
for
Wii's great.
What has
Wii
anyone heard of
U's
this Dreamcast controller? It was like a flight stick with a trackball. I don't even know. I obviously didn't hear of it, because if I did hear of it, I'd have it. Wait, what is that?
This was my neatest thing, and it was the best thing I ever got.
What's that for?
Cool.
That is the Dreamcast VGA adapter, so you can hook your Dreamcast into your PC.
Yeah,
you can play it on your PC, and it was friggin' awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it was the other thing about the hookups for it. S video and VGA adapter and.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this flight stick thing. It's called a mission stick. I'm not sure what this was used for.
Huh.
It's different than the virtual on thing. I do remember seeing this a long time ago. I never. It's got to be a Japanese only thing.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
I don't even know what the heck that is.
Oh yeah, I see it here. Yeah.
What in the world?
Here, I'll.
Now I want to get it.
Now I want to get it.
Oh, I remember that too. Yeah.
Damn you, Go Game Go.
Yes, the DS library was amazing.
$161.99.
Sold out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's different than the thing I was looking at. So this is, I think this is what Stargroove and Savitar are talking about. The one you're showing, Pete. I found something else that
That's got a trackball on it, the one you have there, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at something different. Doesn't have a
Okay.
trackball. This is the ASCII mission stick controller.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
I think I've seen this Panther one on one of the YouTube channels.
What'd you call it?
The ASCII or the
mission stick?
Ooh, well, 220 Canadian on eBay.
Which
Mad
one's
Cat.
that?
That's that. Well, that's a Mad Cat's controller. It's a trackball and joystick.
Ooh, that one. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that one. What the heck game was that for?
Huh.
It's got an actual Dreamcast logo on it, which is interesting.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So it must have been an official thing.
Well, that's a crazy ass looking thing.
There you go. There's the flights game, isn't that?
Arrow Wings 2 Airstrike. I'm not even familiar with that game, but that's a European game. That's not a Japanese game.
Yeah. Now I want to get that damn thing.
I know.
That looks bitchin'.
Yeah, I just want that for a conversation piece.
I'm going to mount it on the wall.
That is so cool. What?
Nothing like bringing a date home to show them that.
Well, the only problem I got is like none of my friends at all are retro gamers or new gamers or anything like that. You know, their kids are. So any of the stuff that I get for my house and that, they just all look at me like I'm dumb. You know, they just they don't understand it. So I'd get that and have it in my house, and none of them would even be impressed by it. They probably just overlook it. That's why I have to show Jeff stuff once in a while. Just
Well, I'm just fascinated with this controller. This thing is just so bizarre. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, see, that's I'm gonna try to buy that, and then I can do it on Discord, and you can then you'll be interested in it.
That is so cool.
How much is that one you said? Is that the one Pete said was 200 something?
That was Canadian, wasn't it, Pete?
Yeah.
Oh, so was that like $50 American?
Or 150.
Sorry, Pete. I had to do a Canadian joke.
You and your Canadian friends.
I want to see this guy use the stick while he's playing this game.
Yeah.
You think this was made just for this controller or just for this game?
Well, no. It's pretty cool.
No, this one was 162 American.
Yeah,
Sega
so
Dreamcast ASCII Mission Stick Controller, and it's that one right there.
I'll have to check with my son. There's
Do it anyway.
a Japanese website he uses for import games, and we've gotten a lot of really good deals. Like I got a Orange Spice Japanese GameCube, and it wasn't even that expensive. It was well under $100. I couldn't believe it.
Well, you know,
I'm gonna have to have him check for this.
Jeff, just think about it.
Saboteur has that thing?
No, he's got the first one that Stuart showed.
The Panther?
Yeah, with the glowing blue.
Oh, okay.
Ball.
Well, I like that other one too. So
no, that was cool too.
I want to see him do a barrel roll.
Yeah, do a barrel roll.
See, Jeff, if you get this and you get this game, then if you ever are in a plane and it's like there's trouble, like the pilot had a heart attack, then you can go to the cockpit and save him.
Where can I plug this in? Where can I plug in my mission stick? I'm good to go.
Oh my God, what are we going to do? Settle down. I've got a mission stick.
Saboteur. Who would buy a controller for one game? Oh, wait. I've got a Denshin to Go controller.
Hold on a second. Me.
Well, I mean,
Saboteur. What's wrong with you buying a train controller?
Yeah, you still have it. You got to do a show with that.
Oh, I do.
Well, yeah. Remember the mic that came with the Seaman?
Seaman? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, was it used for anything else? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Here's Crazy Taxi.
Wait.
Oh, God,
like crazy taxi with this thing?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Great game. Greatest game ever.
Just writes itself.
Did you beat that game, Torso?
What, Crazy Taxi?
No, Seaman.
Oh, Seaman? I think I did because I used to play the crap out of it because I was just really interested in it because also, too, it sounded like George Takei, from Star Trek.
Leonard Nimoy.
It was Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but for some reason, it just sounded like George.
Oh,
and,
he was doing it, George.
He might have been. I don't know. But yeah, I was fascinated by that game because it was so odd,
So you would only buy 3 controllers for one game? Technically different.
Hey, RetroSec is here. What's going on? Does Metal Torso have this controller? It looks really cool.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet, yes.
He is destined to have this. I want to see how he does this with can you actually I'm really curious. Oh, so he just
Yeah,
right.
see, I don't usually go real expensive on certain things, but I don't know, for some reason I'd spend the money on this thing.
After that scene, I want to know if this game has a Mr. Microphone in it.
I would too, Torso. 1, because it's Dreamcast, and 2, I've never seen anything like this controller.
Whoa! Yikes.
Huh. He drives about as well as I do with a real controller, so
I thought you were going to say with a real car. Hey, baby, let me take you somewhere and we'll stop when we hit a pole.
CC Mental, that was a terrible sentence to say. I'm already going to call it right now. That's the comment of the night.
All of a
sorry.
sudden, the door swings open and he gets a frying pan upside the head.
No, I don't think this was Medusa. I think the first the flying game was, but I guess this guy is just checking it out. Yeah, RetroSeg, if you like controllers, you should come over here and check out the Go Game Aquarium. I've got a lot of arcade sticks in there.
Yeah, you got to show
Including
for your throttle for the motorbike.
Hey,
I love that one.
I think you're the one that said it. I don't think I said anything.
No, I don't remember. It's too close to call.
It's a nice, you know, the thing I like about that is it looks like it's a great build. It looks like it's.
That's what's so neat, isn't it? It looks like it's such an interesting design.
Yeah, it looks
right,
good, functional, and it looks like it's not going to fall apart.
Well, you know what it looks like? It's shuttle controls for Star Trek. That's what it looks like. That's the flight controller and everything for it.
Pete, do you think this would work for Space Shuttle on Atari?
Maybe.
A little soldering.
I love the D-pad in the middle. Like, what is that even supposed to be for? I guess just menus.
Oh, there's buttons all over the place.
I know. It's like.
Well, remember that? What the heck was that one controller you could buy for? It was like a mech game, and the thing was huge. It was like 180, 190 bucks for this thing.
Oh, for Xbox, right?
Yeah, that thing was crazy. I almost bought it just because it was nuts. I was like, man, you know, I just wanted to have it. This another conversation piece.
Pete, what game was that for? You know that game.
You're talking about Steel Battalion?
Yes.
Yeah, Steel Battalion.
Yeah.
Man,
I've yet to hook it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have that, don't you, Pete?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pete, you got to do a video on that. That would be huge.
I know.
But like I tell you every time, you got to do it with a helmet on.
See, that's the problem is I can't find the helmet.
Well, maybe just use the Expos batting helmet. There's 3 of them?
Oh. Pete, you got to do that video and then do it with a Stormtrooper helmet on.
2 copies of the game, and that's the second one, which isn't supposed to be as good. I don't know what I'm going to do when I finally get to that, though, because this one's sealed.
Don't wear a Kylo Ren helmet. You'll turn into a whiny bitch.
Might have to get a copy of that, Pete.
You wear that Kylo helmet, you'll be messing everybody up in that game.
Is that what you're doing right now, Stuart?
They'll be calling for cleanup on aisle 2.
I also wanted to get the remember the virtual on sticks, those dual sticks.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I think Kylo Ren went off like that because he realized he was in a shitty movie. So yeah.
I wanted to show Jeff, you know, I was picking up them N64 games, you know, waiting for that analog 3D.
Yeah.
I was so excited because I got Rogue Squadron.
Oh yeah, man.
Game. And I mean, I think it was only like $20 or whatever. You know, it's a loose card or whatever. But
right,
you know, the N64 games, they're not cheap, but they're not real super expensive. You know, getting them. So I've been getting lucky on it.
I haven't checked the price on that. I'd like to get this Super Nintendo animated Batman game. Is what I'd like to get. The Batman and Robin game. Wonder what that is these days. It's kind of expensive too.
For which one? For which system, sir?
I think it's for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, there's the. Let's see if I can. Hey, la, 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 la.
Oops, where are we here? Salvador has the Sega Saturn mission stick. Wow.
Boop.
Didn't know there was one of those either.
It's getting wicked crazy.
Medusa, I think there was a GameCube Batman that came with a figure. Janky box?
A GameCube?
Really?
GameCube Batman game. $210 for this one on Amazon. Just the cart
What, for the Batman?
for that Batman game, yeah.
You should get two, one to play and one to put on display.
No.
Man, that better be one damn good Batman game.
Well, you know, I saw it. There's a Batman and Robin for the Genesis. You don't think that's the same game, do you? But for the Genesis?
I don't know. Back then, a lot of times their games were completely different.
Yeah. That's kind of what I would think too. Yeah, because I saw it, Jeff. I saw it downtown at the first time I ever saw it was down at the shop down there at the bank, the old bank.
Starts with a B.
Yeah, it's almost the same as the chicken place. It's like Bodax.
It might be.
Yeah,
Man, that'd be good if Bojangles sold video games too.
So a GameCube Batman.
I bet you have a Bojangles in Ohio, don't you, Torso?
Yes, we do got that. But you know what? We got like Bojangles Light. They don't sell the chicken. They sell the chicken tenders, but they don't sell like chicken pieces. You don't get like breast or. And I'm like, that's the best. And they also don't carry the dirty rice, which makes no sense because their dirty rice is delicious.
Wow. Okay.
Man.
So do you remember when Lance shared that thing the other day where it's like, you're old when, you're like, what game system came out 19 years ago? And, you're thinking of this system that's a real retro system when in fact it's something else that came out. You're like, oh God, it can't be further back than that. And that's the way I'm looking at this. I'm like, they had a Batman Begins game, that movie. They had that on the GameCube. That's how long ago that movie came out.
Well, I do that with the like the GameCube and stuff like that. There'll be like some movie tie-in games too that'll be on there, and I go, "Oh crap, that movie was out there."
Yeah, they actually had 3 Batman games for the GameCube. They had Batman Begins, Batman Vengeance, which is more like the animated series, and then they have Batman Dark Tomorrow.
Pete, I'm looking at that picture from Go Game Aquarium. Well, I'm not sure if I'm singling you out, but
there you go, Pete. That's yep.
I'm looking at that, and if you look really closely, oh, that one looks
there
cool.
You go.
You can see an arcade stick it's a Marvel one for PS3.
There it is.
Ooh, it's a lot of Batman games.
Wow, Pete.
Yeah, Pete's loaded up on Batman.
Damn. Oh yeah, there's that one. The rise of Sin Tzu. Sorry, there's that one too.
Oh man, that made me think of Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's the game. That's the game. It might not be the game we want, but that's the game we need.
Do you realize we could name any original Xbox game and Pete can get up and just grab it?
Right?
I know. That's insane.
I feel like we should play some kind of version of a video game. Let's make a deal with Pete. Now, Monty Hall would come out and ask, "Do you have a paper clip in your purse? I'll give you $10 for it."
It's a long time.
Although for Pete, we'd have to put a time limit on it because he has everything.
Right.
Oh, look at that. Ding, ding.
Now, what is that game just based off the original, or do they have like wrestlers from all the Rockies? Making you get it out again, Pete.
Uh,
Oh, is there more than one Rocky?
yeah. Then you have Rocky Legends, which of course has them all.
Okay.
And that's on the back. It shows Clubber Lang, Dolph Lundgren, Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they're in this one.
Yeah, but
I love the.
you know what, Pete? If you want the King Rocky game, you want that one off the ColecoVision with the Super Action controller that played like crap.
That's right. The Rockies with no faces.
That'd be
Man,
this one would be fun to play sometime.
I hated that Super Action controller.
Seems to me, before I went to PRGE and I was getting a bunch of games and stuff here, I was the big video game find, which I never did do a video. It's a bit of a story. But I got a bunch of games for C-Mart before I went out and Luke and Dawn I took them out. And one of them was French-Canadian sealed Rocky game for the ColecoVision, I believe, was one of the ones I found for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've never had the controllers. I've never had the controllers myself.
Yeah, I didn't care for them. I mean, they were clunky, big.
Yeah, they are, Brian, all alphabetized. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a controller now for my ColecoVision that, some third-party controller that makes it fun to play. Because, I didn't mind the controller for the ColecoVision on certain games, but that stubby, would drive you nuts. So, now you can get with D-pads and stuff like that where it's a lot better.
Yeah.
I understand where they were trying to go. It was nice having the keypad on and everything, but yeah, it was just stupid having it so short like that.
Yeah, I agree. I played a lot back in the day, and yeah.
So, Pete, have you played those Batman games?
I have played them all. I got gameplay videos out on them all. One of my long video. I haven't done a short on. I haven't gotten to that point in the shorts yet. But I'll be quite honest. Yeah, they're not good.
Oh,
a lot of them games aren't the superhero. The Arkham Asylum, when they got to them Batman games, they were great.
Yeah. Speaking of Rise of Skywalker,
well, look at Superman. Yeah, the one for the original Atari is fun.
Oh,
simple,
it's
but
my
fun.
favorite game.
Yeah, but then you get into the Superman 64. Man, that game made me want to just throw that card against the wall.
Love that game.
You didn't like Superman 64, Torso?
What's that?
You didn't like Superman?
That's not
64?
sealed. It's just in good shape.
No, remember the going through the rings on that thing? You had I hated that.
I never had that game, but I remember watching Video Game Nerd do it, and God, it looks terrible.
Yeah, I was pretty excited until I played it. It was just like remember was it Castlevania for the 64, and I was all excited. But man, it's hard. I mean, it's not that it's okay on certain things, but man, there's parts of it is so hard to get through on. It's just it's torture, So, I mean, I don't mind a game getting hard, but when it's torturing me, I'm not into all that. I'm not a
64 under my desk. I never played the 64 much. There's not a Nintendo 64 game. I wouldn't have Nintendo 64 wouldn't be on my list because I played it very, very little. I certainly wouldn't be anywhere near NES. I love NES. Yeah, there's some dogs, but there's some freaking fantastic games on the NES too that I absolutely love, and I could pick up and play right now and have a blast with.
Yeah, so the 64 was, I think. Well, what it was Mario. They had a setup there at Toys R Us where they had the Mario 64 and showing the system off before it came out, and I played it, and I remember just being blown away by that game. Just like I was so amazed about that jump to 3D, and so I got it and just loved that system. But yeah, it's just PlayStation came out and there was crap loads of PlayStation games. So I understood that people that didn't get into the 64 as much because you talk, the amount of games out for the PS, one at that time was nuts.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
64 only. Well, remember when 64 released too? It had Mario and it had, was it Pilot Wings or was I think it was, and that was it for a while. You had to wait for the other ones to start coming out. So
I was exactly the same, Tor. So I think it was either a Target or a Venture here in town where they had a kiosk for Nintendo 64, and I wasn't planning on getting it because I wasn't a huge NES fan or a Super Nintendo fan. I had TurboGrafx and Genesis, but I went and I played the Mario game that was there, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever played in my life.
Right.
I was like, I've got to get one just for this game. It was unbelievable.
It was kind of like the 3D games that were out for the PlayStation at that time that sort of preceded. Like, of the best ones, Spyro, would you say Spyro the Dragon? I remember I had Bug's Life, which was okay. That was, of course, they all wanted to go 3D like that, right? But Super Mario 64 was so much better than everything else. So then I found than Spyro, I thought it was a better playing game.
Yeah, the 3D, everybody wanted to do it, but not everybody was doing it right at that time because it was uncharted territory, So
exactly, whatever they did, they took it, they made it 3D. Superman sucked. Castlevania, it sucked. The Zelda games were good.
Yeah.
I haven't played them very much, but they were fun. But they had some negative parts too that were like they never did really get the viewpoint right.
Oh no, the camera
on any of them. The camera angle was terrible.
Yeah, that camera angle would piss you off sometimes.
That was right up until the PlayStation 2, and there was issues all through. There was always games for the systems that had issues.
Right.
In its infancy, that 3D stuff with Nintendo, it's like I don't know. It's just sometimes I'm an old guy who just as soon turn on in television and play Dungeons and Dragons for 20 minutes than battle with that stuff, and I love NES. Right. Some games suck, but there's other games. I put on Mega Man 2 right now, and I could sit there and I'll play it for 2 hours and love every minute of it. Right? Super Mario 2, stuff like that. So
what's I'm the same way, Papa Pete. I it's like I'll get on that Atari and the 2600 and play for a couple minutes on this, a few minutes on that or whatever, and I'm good. I'm good to go. It just my Xbox and my PS5 mostly just sit around there looking at me all the time because I'm not getting on them very often. The Switch I played more, of course, but just I don't know. I like the games that are just fun to play and it doesn't have to be long or
No, that's right. That's why I like old stuff too, because I don't have time to sit down, and I'd love to invest more time into more games, and maybe someday I will, but I really kind of don't think I will at this point in my life. Maybe there'll be this game. I'm keep waiting to find that game like I sunk the time into as I did Skyrim.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the time that I sunk into Skyrim as well, like I'd be going away on a work trip or something like that. So I was more than happy to sit there and play. I'm sitting in a hotel room, I'll play Skyrim on the 360. And the night goes by, okay, great, because I'm just killing time, right? That was when I played Skyrim and stuff like that. I just don't see sitting at then again, now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing different things. I work on a video like those videos from last week on the Play Cable. I worked on those for like the 125 of like 25 hours. So that's no different than playing a game, is it? It's the same thing. It's just a different hobby type deal. So
the irony, Pete, your video game channel is keeping you from playing video games.
It is, and that's the honest God truth. That is the honest to God truth.
You're more of an editor than you are a game player.
I remember the big people say, oh, they look down on collectors and say you should be a gamer. And I say, do I collect more than a game? Absolutely I do. But not because I'm looking to put this sealed mint on the shelf and save it because it's worth a lot of money. I just love the games. I don't want a sealed Xbox game. I have a couple because that's what I happen to get for good deals. I don't want a friggin' sealed game because I want to be able to open that and play it at any given moment. And I'm going to play every friggin' one of these games before I get rid of this set, because ultimately I'll probably have to get rid of it, right? Eventually, whether it's in 10 years or 5 years or what, but I'm going to play every goddamn game. And I've been doing it, and that's part of the reason I'm doing these stupid videos with the gameplay. Because I'm through, I've played I got gameplay now into the D's. Well, the D's is only like a sixth of the way into it. It's like unbelievable how many games, and each one takes 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes to play because you turn it on and go, oh my God, this is a really good game. I want to play this. But then you don't get to play it because you could probably play it for 20, 30 hours.
Yeah.
But you got another 860 games to play.
You know who's going to get rid of all your games, Pete, and all of our games?
Your kids.
Our kids, yes.
Hey, I have already had offers. So I've been told when you get rid of it, call me. So
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing is there's other people there's people like you that like collecting that piece by piece and that, and there's other people that just want an instant collection.
Yeah,
and because that way they don't have to hunt around. It's it's I like basically like how you do it is I've been doing the piece by piece and that, but I'm not also trying to build a complete set. It's just like the Atari 2600 is the games that I liked, the ones that really meant something to me or I really liked. And I liked a lot of the arcade conversions, Avenger, Superman, Spider-Man, stuff like that, Frogger. So I've got that stuff, and some of it's box, some of it's open box, because that's one thing I found out with Atari 2600. I'm up there and they had, I got a box, I think it was Phoenix. It was $6 and it was in a really nice box. And I was like, wow, these Atari games don't sell for much. So,
but Atari's also would be one of the most impossible to get the whole thing because there's so much crap out there for them.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of the Taiwanese and the Brazil, don't worry about that stuff, but the Zellers. But I love Atari because there's all these stupid little subsets, like all the Activision games. I'm missing one.
Mm-hmm.
All the Magic games or all the Parker Brothers games, the Sears ones. But unfortunately, the freaking Sears ones have gone through the roof. And I don't want to collect the Sears cartridges. I want the boxes for the Sears. So that's even worse. But
I noticed that with the Sears.
That was a complete set because when I started it, I said, why Xbox? Because, it's that generation. Actually, the Xbox games are mostly considered superior to the PS2 versions or the GameCube versions. And they were all cheaper for the most part than the GameCube or the PS2 versions. Yeah. So away we went. And, the games that are $300 now, I bought when they were 50 or 60, which was done on purpose. But that was what realistic. Like, okay, I'd love to have a complete Dreamcast set. Is that going to happen? No. I'd like to have a complete NES set. Is that going to happen? No. I've got 123 out of 125 in television games. Am I ever going to have a complete set? No, because I'm not paying $2,000 for Striker or Spiker, right? Or $1,000 for Learning Fun too. But that's the great thing about this Xbox set right here, and the rest of it's just for fun.
You got a trade offer, Pete. Savitar will trade you his Dreamcast Panther controller for your Vectrex.
For my Vectrex. No.
Oh,
and Savitar, tell me when you get into doing the Uncharted thing, man. I love Uncharted.
Great series.
Yeah, when Pete got that Vectrex, I was blown away because, man, I always wanted a Vectrex system. Always.
And that's something we're looking at it right now, and that's something that I've grossly neglected. Because I should have that out here and getting a camera set up and get some videos of that because that is friggin' fun, right? That's just
that's a cool system.
The stories from I don't know, did you guys play them when you were kids that have an opportunity to at all? Because the only time I ever did was when I went to my sister's in Bangor one time, Friday afternoon, and she took me over to Dave's Movie Shop on Hammond Street, corner of Hammond and Union in Bangor, Maine, and I rented one for the weekend. And that was the only time I'd ever played Vectrex in my life
I've never played a Vectrex. I've emulated it, which I've had fun doing that because the games were great. And that makes me want to play it on the system more. But I never was lucky enough to play the Vectrex itself. It's just something, like I said, it was just when it came out, and I just was fascinated by it because I always liked the vector graphics. So, see it was like, oh man, I really want that,
I've said before, I didn't even know it existed when it was out. I didn't even know it existed until probably 10 years ago. I just never ran into it. I don't even know if it was sold here in town. I never saw it. Never once.
I just remember what magazines and stuff, and it was in it, right?
I would have been all over it because I loved.
Well, remember how many
the old
systems?
Atari Vectrix or Vector graphics.
Well, remember how many systems similar to that? I mean, not vector graphics, but they had their own screens in that were supposedly going to come out. You know, they were promising us. I forget what the one was. It had a little color screen and, you know, had all this stuff built into it, and Univision, I think, or something like that. And, you know, all this stuff they were promising, you know, the Atari 2600 keyboard that was going to, you know, do this or whatever to it. So, I mean, you know, there was stuff they promised left and right that just never came out or panned out or anything like that. So, you know, even, I think the television, didn't they have their, I don't know if it was the television 4 that was talked about at one time.
The television 3 was talked about. It just never, that is actually the item that if you saw something a couple of years ago now, Willie Muller for Electronite has always wanted to get that reproduced, to get an FPGA system out that it was a replicant of the Intellivision 3, the true Intellivision 3. Yes, there's an Intellivision 3.
Yeah, I know there's like not the actual one, but there's a version, you know, whatever they called the 3.
Excuse my friggin' dust, but there's an Intellivision 3. I guess getting closer.
Good
System
Lord.
3, okay. Yeah, and but that's just a Intellivision 1, a Intellivision 2609, the original system, different packet, different case, and it's got a light and stuff on it. That's all it is. But there was an actual advertised Intellivision 3 which had like double resolution for graphics.
Right.
Did it have?
It was pretty impressive.
Did it have joysticks on it?
Hero, laser gate.
I thought I remember. I saw a
kinda
picture,
did.
but I don't know if it was a real picture. I don't even know if they made it, even got that far, but it could have just been a.
I don't know. I don't think that it really. I don't think it had joysticks. You might be thinking of the old. Called Leisure Vision in Canada. It was called other things in Europe. It was called the Arcadia 2000 in the States, which it was just it looked just like a friggin' Intellivision controller with a joystick sticking out in the middle of it. You could actually unscrew that joystick out and just use it as a disc too.
Well, yeah, the other thing that I forgot
what you're thinking of
was they were also when I said the Television 4, that actually was, they were looking at that and they were in the planning stages for an Intellivision 4, and it didn't go anywhere, of course, or whatever, but there was some kind of certain specs they were picking for it. I forget where I read that on, it was an article, or it might have been a YouTube channel I see.
Then it might have been just completely out of the hypothetical, but I mean, they never got past the planning stages.
Yeah, no, they didn't go anywhere with it or nothing like that, but you know, that was, you know, of course the 3 was impressive, but the 4 was really going to be impressive. But they were going to go for the gusto with the 4, and I think it was something about like the 3 was going to be great, but they were like, well, maybe we should do this 4, and there was talk of that, but then like you said, it just never went anywhere. But you know, it's like, it was ambitious though. I mean, it was you know. It would have been something else. I think if they had brought that out, it would have knocked everybody's socks off. You know, it was that impressive
as well. Like if you remember, the actual technology was advancing at such a rapid pace right there that none of the hardware production could keep up with the advancements in technology. So they develop a system and they start bringing it out, and the technology would surpass it before they ever could get it to market. So everything became sort of obsolete. That worked right through the 90s, because remember PC, you couldn't go to the store and buy a PC today that wasn't obsolete in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
crazy. Slowed down a lot now, I find. I really do. But
well, you look at that time with all them systems too, it's just like, you know, they were all using the same chipsets and stuff like that, you know, just these, you know, off the wall, you know, the stuff they would grab and stick in there to, you know, make them work. And but it was until, you know, they started getting, you know, a little bit more, you know, technical and specific for that system or whatever, and you know, and they were designing it, you know, for the, you know, a Super Nintendo or, you know, a PlayStation or whatever. So
Savitar, be patient. There it is. You're right. Joystick on it.
This was from Blue Sky Rangers. This doesn't look like it's real. It looks like it's a mock-up.
Yeah.
But I guess they were thinking of doing that.
100%. to mock up.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah,
Is-
that and I have a stickler on the one over there that was my brother-in-law's, because we had a box, which I wish I could find that box. We took one of the discs out, put the stickler in, because it actually took the controller apart. It didn't just stick onto them like some of them did. It actually went in, even though it was called the stickler, it replaced the whole disc. And I know the stickler box, which is a cube-shaped box with the other stickler and the disc from that one, was here somewhere, and I cannot find it for 25 years. I haven't been able to find it. So it's in a box somewhere in the basement, or it was destroyed in a flooded box that got thrown out. I'm not sure which.
Oh,
but
that would be terrible.
That would be terrible, but c'est la vie, right? That's part of life. But when you put one of those joysticks on one of those discs, it completely and utterly sucks.
Well,
Does
this one
not
here,
work.
this one here really looks bad because it's up so high. I don't know how you'd control it. It's just,
yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a million of these different movies and different styles of movies that were about video games. But I didn't know if you guys had ever seen this one. I picked this up not long ago, and I thought I'd see if you guys know about this one. Let me see here.
You want an origin story? The year was 1984. And that's when he appeared. I call him the Harbinger now, because over time I've learned that he's the one who delivers the rules.
You're Eugene
Wilder. Yeah, the one and only. And you are Max, right?
I know it sounds nuts. I mean, I've been wanting to play this game since I could hold a controller.
Yeah, that's you too.
I knew he'd be back. I just had no idea there were any game cartridges left. I knew it was only a matter of time before the Harbinger found his one player, the one man capable of truly unlocking.
My boy, the chosen one.
Chosen pawn. Chosen pawn, and we're not even sure. Maybe.
Unless the store's on fire this weekend, I am not to be bothered when I'm jacked in.
What's the one thing the Nether Dungeon never had and won't be expected?
You are the prize we seek now, Max. Power grows with each soul committed to the game.
Okay, well, if we're going in there against the Nether, then we're going to need firepower.
Let's rock! Stop them! Stiff off, bros! Another dick.
Come on, all those people out there!
What would happen if the game went mobile?
Imagine hundreds, if not thousands, of Nether-possessed game junkies like your friend here, just running through the streets, running them up.
It's up to us to stop it.
This is like a
Next reload.
movie.
I've never heard of that.
No, cool.
Yeah, hadn't heard of it, and then I found it cheap, and I'm like, yeah, I bet this is going to be really bad and hokey. And it was good and hokey. It was good and hokey, you know.
Oh,
it was,
right on.
it
Rise of-
wasn't.
Rise of Skywalker too.
It was not Rise of Skywalker. I would actually watch this movie. But yeah, if you've never seen it though, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I own it, but you know, there's tons of those movies, you know, that are out there for video games that just are
You've never heard of.
and there's some out there that we've never heard of, and they're really good. And
You getting up again?
You know, we just showed that in Television 3 controller that looked terrible.
Yes.
Well, it's not as terrible as this.
oh yeah,
Well, what's that?
With the B button on the top.
The Atari game.
Oh, is that the
Pro.
yeah, that was dumb.
There's no way to even hold it, and you got the buttons here are a mess, and it didn't really work. I remember I played it on here. I was playing basketball for Atari.
Yeah.
And the
Great game.
guy just took off running. I was like, I'm not even touching it. Somehow
I'm just waiting to see what they do with that their new system, the handheld, and they got the sticks and stuff like that. And
oh yeah, the big screen, the big handheld one with the screen, that really big one. It's like $150. I mean, it looks pretty cool. But
yeah, it's got a trackball. It's got a spinner. No, it doesn't have the spinner. It has a trackball.
There's a trackball, and then
They just keep throwing stuff out over and over and over again. It's like, though, that's almost like too much. They don't.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter. They'll just throw something out every other month. They'll throw something out, and
Yeah, Atari
I
needs
like-
to concentrate
yeah,
on new
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Focus or something. But if people are buying it all, people are buying it all. So
It'll run
Yeah.
out sooner or later.
that's the bottom line, isn't it? People are buying it.
yeah.
Give the people
Yeah.
what they want.
Well, people are screaming all over those things. They were down to $50 at Costco, and it's like people were just clamoring over them.
You know, I did a short on that years ago, probably
Yeah.
2 years ago, about how Costco had it for like $20 off or $40 off, whatever. And people still leave comments. It's usually like, I just got this for $20 somewhere.
Yeah.
And I always want to put the comment. I never do. I always want to say it's still not worth it. It's really bad.
Still too much. Still too much. Just still too much.
Hey, did you see this?
I would be able for $20.
Did you see this short I did with these things? The
I did.
fake
Yeah.
brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any Joy-Cons here, but you slide it in here and you wrap it around like this, and it's for those boxing fitness games,
Arms of workout videos.
and arms, because arms uses the same deal where you have to put it on its side and point it like this, like that.
Man, I gotta ask you, how much are a pair of those? $20?
No, it was less than 20, but you know what? It was like 15, I think. But you know what's funny? I went back to check it because people kept asking me different questions. I was like, I want to see how much these things cost. They're out of print. They don't make them anymore. So
10 to 1.
I'm glad I got them when
I
I
guess
did.
after your short come out, they bought all the ones
Yes.
that were left.
Well, 10 to 1, they've got one out there online, and Nathan could just print one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be able to. I don't know if it'd be quite as nice as this.
But that's not Nintendo, Stuart.
Right.
I mean, look at all those for the longest time, and eventually somebody will be trying to sell them for like $50 a piece. But you can walk into a yard sale and look underneath every friggin' table, and there'll be a box with a for Wii control that a Wii remote could fit into, a Wiimote, tennis rackets, golf clubs, baseball bats, the crossbow
They had a
thing,
ton of stuff.
the steering wheels, and they just
Link
sit there.
crossbow. That was awesome.
Yeah, but they were everywhere, right?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, it's not an actual Nintendo product, huh?
No. I don't know who made this. A company called Answer.
I think that's mostly Stern Games too. That new one coming out, that Atari.
Saboteur. I know.
Oh, I know.
I'm not even sure if that was in reference to Pete.
What do you know, Pete? I know.
I know.
Oh yeah, another Atari arcade cart is coming to Evercade.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what games they don't put on that they advertise.
Well, like I said, it's mostly Stern Games. You know, like some of the more obscure stuff too, because they have like Frenzy and Berserk on there.
Yeah, they had both of those.
And then it gets and they also got Fire Truck on there.
Yeah,
which,
I saw
I
that.
don't know. Yeah, I was like, why didn't he throw Fire Truck on there?
well, that
whatever. I got they had to fill up some slots or something.
it's on the Atari 50, right?
Yeah.
so.
Mhm.
So obviously you could play with that. What's the original one that was a steer wheel, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
So it's always a little harder with steering wheel than a joystick. I don't know, but still neat. Still a story.
Oh yeah, I lived in the arcade. I used to do the Fire Truck all the time. Me and Fred. But that's why I sent that thing to Jeff, because Chuck E. Cheese are coming out with arcades called Chuck Arcades or whatever that could. Chuck E. Arcades, I think it is. It's just,
I think it's just Chuck's Arcade because it's kind of
it's
it's
a Chuck's, yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how many Atari cartridges do they have for the Evercade?
I know there's
Do they
there's
Two
one
regular
arcade
and one arcade. Is that right?
Yeah, two of the regular ones. Yeah,
Maybe three.
I know that.
And then the fourth one is coming out.
Okay, a fourth one. Okay.
I don't think that's up for pre-order yet, though.
The
I
Atari.
never keep track of Evercade stuff, like what I've pre-ordered, what I haven't, what's coming out.
Right.
They really pump out the games, man.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see if we're gonna waiting for. I have the analog 3D, but I got the controller from 8-bit from Amazon, and I'm waiting to see if they ship that because I haven't heard anything out of that analog 3D. They haven't showed any clips. They haven't talked about
Isn't
it.
that weird?
No,
They haven't shown a single video of a game running.
I don't think they're scamming, but they're
No.
it just makes me wonder because they're just so slow on getting stuff out.
Isn't it supposed to come out in a couple months?
It's supposed to come out March, end of March, because it said first quarter.
I
So
can't
that'd be
imagine
March,
it's coming out in March if they haven't even shown a video of
No,
it.
I haven't heard nothing. I doubt if it is.
Maybe March of 2026.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen
I mean,
this
that
thing?
thing's lofty. I mean, the goals of it is crazy. What they want to do with it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny looking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you know how they're getting rid of the gold points? Well, here's what they had before that. They had, this is from the Wii U. Remember, they had Club Nintendo. I always love that little logo, that hat. And then, they'd give you a little code here. But that's what they had before that. And I remember when they shut that down, everybody was up in arms about it. But, I mean, they came back with the gold coin. So I'm sure they'll have something for the Switch, too.
It's always coming and going.
Yeah, Salvatore brought up a good point. Hey, there's two, I forgot about the 2 Lynx games cartridges for the Evercade because I have them.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Atari Lynx. That was good.
That's something that's still sealed at my house is my Evercade.
Yes, so this will be the 6th that's coming out because there's the 2 originals, 1 and 2 were Atari, and then there's the 2 Lynx, 1 arcade, and this is arcade 2 that they just announced. It isn't even being pre-ordered yet. So, 1 and 2 are.
I'm still waiting for that Stern collection with Bagman and Bagman 2. Maybe we'll get that someday, Salvatore.
We need
Salvatore. What if you traded Bagman Arcade to Pete for his Vectrex? You might have to throw something else in there, Pete.
Salvatore gets to pay for shipping.
I'm starting to think I'm in a Monopoly game.
Yeah. Yeah, shipping.
How about a Vectrex with 2 hotels and
this here is Salvatore's dream. Bagman arcade game to come out on some new system with online leaderboards.
That would be glorious.
We'd see Salvatore right up top.
Hey, Bob and Pete, what was that game you were playing? The first game yesterday, for the television. The one where you had to go through the ship and the aliens were running around.
Oh, Pandora Incident.
Yeah, I was sitting there when you were talking about that, and you made the comment that when somebody asked about if they'd had that earlier, and you said, well, they wouldn't have had that earlier. But I was thinking if they would have, that game would have blew people's minds at that time. Yeah, if it would have came out, because that's pretty in depth for an Intellivision game, or for any system at that time. I was pretty impressed with it. I was watching you play it, and I was like, I really got into it. And you got further in there, which was cool. But I was like, man, that game is kind of cool looking. And it, especially for that time, that would have just blew everybody's mind.
That's another. I sort of said it while I was playing it last night. It's I sit down and I play it that was furthest I'd ever gotten into it. And frankly, if I could sort of memorize where things are a little bit more, I'd be better off to play it, right? But now I won't play it again until probably 2 months from now. I'll stream it again or whatever, right? So if I got to sit on a game like that, if I sat down and played it for a couple of days, probably you would get it down to a science, right?
Well, too, you can get a higher percentages. Would you get like 0? Which I thought was like,
well, I thought I died, but it says congratulations, you won. I said, I don't know how. I figured just ran out of time and died. But I guess I did enough to blow up the ship, I guess, but I went with it.
Right.
Well, it was fun anyway. It was fun to do, and I think it's neat. It just blows your mind what can be done now. Because that's all bank switching and such in a huge game. Was the original hardware capable of doing that, playing that game? Yes, but and it's sort of ambiguous, right? The software, the hardware that can hold the software, which is like the cartridge guts, didn't exist. Does that make sense? They couldn't even program it to do that. They didn't have bank switching. It just couldn't be done. I mean, they were all up in arms when they go from 4K to 6K for a game because it like doubled the price. So
it's what was it, Champ Games for the Atari 2600.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching somebody play Secret Agent, which is elevator action.
Yes, yeah.
And that thing is a dead-on arcade copy. And again, that would have never been done. And I think there is an elevator action for the earlier one, but it doesn't. I don't know if it was a prototype or something like that, but yeah, it's nowhere close to looking as good as that thing does. So
Champ Games is crazy. I don't know. We've talked about this too, about the Galaga they did.
Yeah,
it is unbelievably good. I mean, it is, even the sound is. I don't know how they did it. I mean,
well,
I have the ROM. I put it on the Retron. It even worked there.
It's wizardry.
Aren't there? And tell me, it's got to be. This is the only way I can figure they can do it. Is there's hardware tricks, chips on the boards themselves in the cartridge.
Oh yeah,
that perform a lot of the functions. Because one thing that's sort of weird, because like one that I got that I really, really wanted, I listened. And if anybody hasn't listened to the Atari Visions podcast, which is Paul and Rick and Willie Culver and Ferg. And it's great because they'll take games that are available for multiple systems, like in the game on Ladybug, for example, right, where it's available on all the systems. They'll rank them, and they talked about that. And I really wanted the Ladybug by Champ Games, so I picked it up. It's absolutely freaking amazing. Jeff and I played it a lot, but
it's so good,
man. It does weird things to my screen after I play it. I can still see the game in my screen for 15, 20 minutes after I play the game. That's the ROM with emulation. And that's weird.
Wow. That is weird. I've played their games in my Retron. I haven't noticed anything. But here's the thing. I've only played their ROMs. So they're not even accessing like something special on the board.
No, but the emulator probably can do the same things that the old Atari 2600 couldn't. So with the emulator, it probably...
Yeah. That's probably true. Although the Stella emulator on Retron is really old. They haven't updated it in years. But maybe when they updated it last time, maybe it was far superior to the original guts of the Atari, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I ran into too is I was sitting there looking. Opcode is making a Popeye game for the 7800.
Yes.
I think they're doing the publishing for some guy, because I seen a guy talking about changes he made to it. But man, that really looks great. The sound and everything to it. It just looks like the arcade. And so I was like, oh, whoop. So I bought that because I've been collecting 7800 games because of the 7800 Plus. So that would look like one I needed to have.
Popeye's a fun game.
Opcode does some pretty amazing things. I wish they could get some better luck. They've had terrible luck with their television games, but it's all that too. They've had bad luck.
Oh, they've been having bad luck with the television.
Well, it's been one thing after another. The boxes get messed up. The boxes finally got fixed, and the overlays are messed up. And they're still battling the overlays. Everything's ready now except for their overlays, and I think they're on their 5th printing or something like that. Not to their cost, because I think the printer is messing them up. But that's the latest delay. It could be any time those games could be out. But Opcode is not going to release a substandard product.
No,
they order it a certain way. They agree to a certain way. They're only going to accept it if it's a certain way, a certain quality, a certain caliber, and that's a positive thing for us buying it. It's worth our while. If we're buying those things from them, you can rest assured they're not going to ship you something that's substandard. They're going to ship you exactly what they promised you. It just is taking them longer. Like a few months, but it's still only 6, 7, 8 months. I think we're all personally aware of delays which have taken a little bit longer than that.
I don't know what delays you're talking about, Pete.
It's just him and her too. Him and his wife.
Yeah,
and that's pretty impressive that they kick out what they do anyways.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just,
Jeff, you
if
waited
I
a
was
year for your special edition of Mr. Run and Jump from Atari.
I waited
Let's
so
go.
long. I ordered it and I was still doing Atari games. The time I got it, I was like, I don't even do Atari anymore.
There you go.
I just threw it over here. I was like, what am I going to do with it now?
They're
I have it.
Great
Isn't
quality.
it one you got, Jeff, where the box was damaged too, though? When you
Oh, yeah.
got
What
it?
was that? It was terrible.
Yeah. Box is all squished. It's like, man, you wait all that time, and then that's the thing about it. Atari just tosses stuff in a box. They're not real
that was
here's the Berserk one, but that's not the one that got messed up. This is really nice. I mean, I'm glad I do have it. It's just funny that it took 11 months to get here. Oh no, wait a minute. Berserk took a long time, but it was Run and Jump, like you said, Pete. That was the one that took forever.
Oh, that was I can remember talking about that.
I like that Saboteur's the only one here commenting.
I know.
He's made the last 12 comments. And his last comment was, hey, time's up, guys.
That's like Atari said this, and it's all stove to blazes, right?
Oh, God.
Jeez.
That was in my last pickup video or whatever. It's like opened up, and it was like crushed in, and
with the paddle controller.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't real impressed with that. I mean, there's no need of that.
Pete, you know that Atari book you bought? You had it on one of your shows.
Yeah.
And so I went and I got that from Limited Run.
Yeah.
And the box came in last week. I went to go pick the box up outside. It was just smashed. It was like ripped apart. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, this is my book. I'm like, oh. And the book wasn't really packaged that well either. It was kind of floating in there, but the book had no damage, thank goodness. They did have it in bubble wrap, but I don't know. There's another company I buy books for, video game books. Was it Bitmap or can't remember the name of it? But not only do they wrap the book, but they put these big, huge corners on all four sides.
Yes.
So it doesn't, no matter what happens, that thing's not getting damaged.
That's awesome.
Well, I guess we better take off. The only person talking is telling us we need to go.
Isn't it about time you boys left?
You don't mess with the bag man. We found that out.
Quit eating my snacks and get out of the house.
All right, that's it, guys. We will see you later. I'll see you guys Friday night. I'll be streaming another game. And thanks everyone for showing up here. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Avatar, for making so many comments. And thanks everyone that was here.
If we may comment on that.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.